All right, let's dive into one of the biggest paradoxes in all of biology. We're going to talk about what happens when your body's number one protector actually becomes its worst enemy. I mean, just think about it for a second. Your immune system is this incredibly smart, sophisticated defense force, right? Its whole job is to hunt down and obliterate invaders. But that entire amazing system depends on one single critical skill: knowing the difference between you and not you, between friend and foe. So, what happens when it gets confused?
To really get a sense of what a big job this is, look at this number: 37 trillion. That's roughly how many of your own cells your immune system has to keep an eye on, every second of every day. It's just a mind-bogglingly huge task.
And as if that wasn't complicated enough, get this. Every single day, about 50 billion of your own cells die off, just as a normal part of being alive. This creates a constant, massive cleanup operation to keep your body from, getting completely clogged up with cellular debris.
So, who's in charge of this colossal cleanup job? Well, let's meet the unsung heroes of our inner world. Let's talk about the body's housekeepers. Meet the macrophage. Now, its name literally means big eater in Greek, and honestly, that name is perfect, because that's exactly what they do. Macrophages are the frontline janitors and security guards of your body, just gobbling up all the cellular trash and taking out any threats they find.
And this isn't just some cute analogy. Take a look at this. This is an incredible image from an electron microscope. You are looking at a single macrophage in the process of eating 4 dying cells. You can literally see it doing its housekeeping job, keeping everything tidy and safe. It's amazing.
Okay, but how does a macrophage know what to eat and what to leave alone? I mean, it's not just randomly munching on things, right? Of course not. This brings us to the next piece of the puzzle: a super sophisticated system of signals. It all comes down to communication. A dying cell, one that's at the end of its life, sends out a chemical message that basically says, "Eat me." It's a call to the cleanup crew. But an infected cell, well, it raises a danger alarm, signaling that there's an intruder that needs to be taken care of, and fast.
So let's walk through how this is supposed to work in a perfect world. Step 1, an infection happens, a virus gets inside a cell. Step 2, that infected cell immediately raises that danger alarm. Step 3, a big eater, a macrophage, gets the signal and races to the scene. And step 4, it eats the infected cell, neutralizing the threat before it can spread any further. Simple, elegant, effective.
And right here, you can see exactly how that works. A virus gets into a cell, and that cell puts out a specific "eat me" signal on its surface. It's like a little red flag. That flag acts like a beacon, attracting a macrophage. The macrophage arrives, eats the compromised cell, virus and all, and boom, problem solved.
But that's the ideal scenario. The system is brilliant, for sure, but it's not foolproof. Sometimes the body's own security guards can go rogue.
So what happens when the immune system starts misreading the signals? When it just can't tell the difference anymore between a healthy cell and a real danger? What happens is a condition called autoimmunity. And really, it's a tragic case of friendly fire. The immune system, totally confused by these cross signals, starts to see healthy, normal cells as the enemy. And it launches a full-scale attack, causing chronic inflammation, pain, and just damage to the body's own tissues.
And this is not some rare, obscure thing. Autoimmunity is the root cause of over 80 different diseases. We're talking about things like rheumatoid arthritis, which attacks the joints, or Crohn's disease, which goes after the gut. And some conditions, like lupus, can affect the entire body. Now, you might be thinking, how on earth could the body let such a catastrophic mistake happen? Well, it turns out our bodies are pretty smart. They actually anticipated this exact problem and built in a really sophisticated fail-safe system to stop it. Let's call it the tolerance test.
This system is officially called immune tolerance, and its entire purpose is to teach the immune system what self looks like, to make absolutely sure that its powerful weapons are only ever aimed at real foreign threats, not at us.
And this tolerance system has 2 critical levels. Think of it like a security agency, okay? First, you've got central tolerance. This is the training ground. It happens in an organ called the thymus. Here, T cells are trained, and any of them that react to self are just eliminated. But if a few rogue agents manage to slip through, there's a second line of defense: peripheral tolerance. This is the patrol out in the rest of the body whose job it is to contain any escapees.
So why is this 2-level system so important?
Well, to protect us from every possible germ out there, our T cells create a practically infinite variety of receptors, all these different shapes you see here. But that amazing diversity creates a built-in risk. Just by pure random chance, some of those receptors are going to be a perfect match for our own cells. And that's exactly why this tolerance test is so incredibly crucial.
So what happens when one of those self-reactive T cells actually escapes the training ground and starts causing trouble out in the body? Well, that's when the system calls in an elite force, the immune peacekeepers.
And these are not your average everyday immune cells. Oh no. These are highly specialized operatives. Their one and only mission is to hunt down those rogue self-reactive cells and shut them down before they can trigger an autoimmune disaster.
They're called regulatory T cells, or TRIGs for short, and you can absolutely think of them as the immune system's peacekeepers. They are the heart and soul of that peripheral tolerance patrol, actively suppressing that autoimmune response and maintaining peace and harmony inside the body.
So understanding all these different players, the macrophages, the signals, the rogue T cells, and these peacekeeper TRIGs is bringing us to a brand new frontier in medicine. And that leads to the final part of our story. What's next?
Because right now, our treatments for autoimmunity are, well, they're pretty blunt. We use immunosuppressants, which basically slow down the entire immune system, which, by the way, leaves patients vulnerable to infections. Or we use anti-inflammatory drugs to just manage the pain and swelling. They can help with symptoms for sure, but they don't fix the core problem, that underlying confusion.
And this is the challenge that lies ahead of us. Our immune system is constantly walking this incredibly delicate tightrope. If it responds too little, we get sick. If it responds too much, it attacks itself. So the great question for science now is, how can we learn to gently guide it? How can we help it find its balance again without just shutting the whole thing down? Because that is the key to truly conquering autoimmune disease.